I'd like to call the meeting to order for Parks and Recreation for November 13th, 2024. Tammy, could you do the roll call, please?
Mary Champagne,
Here.
Dave Tuttle, Leonard Jones,
Here.
Lisa Hutton. She's new, I don't have her there. Megan
Montaigne.
How do you pronounce it?
Montaigne?
Montaigne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here.
Stand for the pledge, please. And Leonard, would you like to lead?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it
stands
stands,
one nation, under
one
God,
nation,
indivisible,
indivisible, with justice for all.
all. That was stuck in my throat.
So I need an approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to tonight's agenda? So I realize Scott's taking care of some things at the sports complex, so most likely he won't be here.
I'll approve the agenda as would. No. Go right ahead.
We need a second to approve.
Yep.
Second.
Thank you.
Approves that.
And approval for the previous meeting from September 11th for the minutes.
I'll approve the minutes from the September 11th meeting.
Second.
Good job.
Jesse, I believe you're up with staff.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. So to update everybody, out at Lake Lucille, we have Pavilion B, which has a bunch of cracked up slab, and we got it scheduled for 2025 for repair. The upper campground, we were able to remove all the trees and get that prepped for next year. We got to bring in some more dirt and level it off so we can have a new tent campsites that are going to be up top across from the host. In the main campground, we were able to go through and brush everything, get it all cleaned up, remove any of the snag trees. So next year, starting out, we should have kind of a step ahead going into the following year to where we can open up. We're trying to get that open earlier and earlier, just depending on weather, of course. And then we've actually added a new path which goes down to the dock from the upper campground where the tents are, to make it a little bit more convenient for people to get around and have some more walking ways out there. Over in the Idita Park in the parade field, we have plans of putting in 5 new junction boxes in the parade field, which will help with the picnic, but it'll also give us a lot more power to where we're able to put up a lot better Christmas lighting and stuff like that. But just the weather kind of hit us and got cold too fast this year for us to get it put in. So it'll be a push trying to get it in, cleaned up before the picnic, so it looks all groomed again before anybody shows up. All of our pavilions, all the powers are off on those just due to the homeless and stuff. We had to go through and turn those all down today just because they were just running heaters and a bunch of other stuff off it. And so to help Charlie, he asked us if we could go through and turn those off. Also, we were able to accomplish getting a new fence installed around the pickleball court. So hopefully next summer that'll help a lot for, people not hitting their balls and having to chase them so much. We still have over by the Performing Arts parking lot. It's scheduled for the fence to be repaired from where the contractors damaged it last winter with stacking snow on it and just thrashed it. So we got a contractor that'll be in there as soon as possible, as soon as weather breaks, unless we get enough good weather that they can get in there and stretch the new wire across it. And then the power for the lighting on the sled hill is on now. so they're able to slide up and clear into the dark. At Nunley Park, I'm still working on trying to get the caboose moved so that parents have better visibility in the park, and our hopes are that we can put a swing set in there and kind of turn that into kind of a new little area. We're looking at it'll be 6 new swings once we get it. I gotta order it and get that in for next year as well. Down at Newcomb, the plans are next year we're supposed to start putting in the new restrooms. We've had some conversations over it. We're gonna try to add some showers to the outside so that as people come up out of the water and stuff, before they get to their rigs and stuff, they can wash off. And we'll have access and control of that inside the building, whether that works or not. Everything has been winter maintained, so all the irrigation's been blown off. All the toilets and everything have been RV. Let me think about, sorry, we put all the RV, oh my gosh. Antifreeze, thank you, sir.
Bet.
And so everything's winterized for the winter. We also were able to get the weed harvester winterized and pulled off over at Carter Park. We have to put the lights in on the lake for the ice skating ring. That's based on the thickness of the ice, and we're not there yet. So once it gets to 12 inches, then we'll drill holes and put in all the lighting that goes out across the lake. And then also at Carter Park, we installed new curb stops. We removed the whole wood fence. It looks a lot better. We also took the Carter sign. We revamped it, rebuilt it, restained it, moved it. We drove 3-inch piles down 14 feet, so hoping that it doesn't flip it and bend it like it has been in the last few years, because every year when the frost heaves, it flips them over because the ground's very unsettled over there. And then we're also got to deal with the other issue over there is the bathroom is settling out due to the poor ground. So we're having talks now what we're going to do with that, whether we're going to remove it. Got a couple different bids that were very extremely high to go in and jack it up, and it's just not really cost effective for it. And then at Pedersen Park, we were able to install the bollards and chains there to keep people out of there, and we left a 4-foot entryway access for pedestrians walking. We removed all the dead trees. We grinded all the stumps that were within a certain height. We brought in 3 inches of dirt, and then we also were able to go in and we got the grass seed in early enough that we'll have grass that was already coming in. So it should be a really nice park for next year, and it's really open now, a lot better lit, and I think the public will have enjoyed a lot more. And then also out at the campground, we're gonna install a swing set out there, and for doing that, we're gonna have to expand the area of the playground to make it bigger to get the correct fallout zone. And then we're also gonna add another little playground structure in there of some sort. We haven't totally determined what that's gonna look like just yet. And that way when the campers come in, they have a place that's close for the kids instead of trying to get them to go up over the hill and stuff. So we'd like to keep that one up and present because it does get used a lot. And so that's where we have more goals than that coming up in the summertime. And right now we're just we're ready for winter. All of our plow trucks are set up. So we're planning on trying to get a new sander so that we can hopefully do a little bit better job in some of the parking lots around town when it turns to ice. So we're progressing and more things are happening in a good way. Any questions?
So Jesse, can I ask, does your crew still plan on putting up Christmas lights on Lucille and Nelson area this year near the fire station?
Yes, that's already started as of today. We built what we call the Santa's Workshop. So we built a 8x10 building. It has double doors. So the plan is hopefully as we keep growing in this arena, that it's going to become a Christmas village where families can come, and we have a couple different people that are going to come in for free do coffee and stuff like that. I don't know that that's gonna happen this year, but that's what we're progressing to, is to get more things, to have more family functions. And that's where, my understanding is, the Christmas tree lighting this year will happen there. So we've moved a bunch of stuff in there. There's a bunch of new stuff. So, yeah, it should be pretty awesome.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Other questions? I don't have any questions other than say that it sounds like you're doing a great job.
Sir.
And I guess the homeless and the pavilions, how bad is that? I mean, is it progressively the vandalism and the damage?
They cause a lot of damage. Sorry.
Not,
There's damage that they cause. There's, like, you can't keep liquid soap in the bathrooms because they drink it, unfortunately, even though there's signs on all of them that says there's no alcohol in them. They break things, you know, they're volatile.
Right.
We've had a couple of our staff over the summertime, you know, we've had a couple people get death threats from them and things like that. The police get involved and stuff. So
Right.
the homeless community here is definitely growing and getting bigger. Just like when you pull into Anchorage, the first thing you see is that, and you're just, it's pretty amazing, you know, how overran it is with that, and that there's no help for them.
Right.
That's what's sad about the whole thing, is that there's just, doesn't seem to be enough help to get them into a different position.
well, thank you for all your hard work.
No problem,
Yes,
my crew does most of it, but I have an amazing crew.
Well, I've watched them work when I'm around town, so good job.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
Public comments? Thank you for waiting, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
And what is your name?
My name's Dan Fleckenstein.
Okay.
And right there's that red button, if you push it, it'll turn green so they can hear you better.
Okay, my name's Dan Fleckenstein. I'm the president of Matsu Softball Association. And I'm here tonight to present an update from our previous season at the Bumpus Softball Complex. Matsu Softball has been in a management agreement with the city of Wasilla from back starting in 2006 to operate and manage that ballpark and run our softball program there. And I wanted to just come and give some updates from our activities from the previous summer at the ballpark. I've met numerous times with the city council for this purpose, but I thought I would come to the Parks and Rec Commission and basically give the same presentation so I could loop you guys in on what we're doing and what's happening up at that park. Matsu Softball is located at 4900 Palmer Wasilla Highway. We've been there for the past 16 years, operating as our office. We were established in 1983 as a 501c4 nonprofit organization. Matsu Softball is affiliated with USA Softball Alaska, and we're part of USA Softball nationally. It's the program that oversees our rules, and we operate under them for our sanctioning. Our games are held at the Bumpus Softball Complex on Mystery Avenue here in Wasilla. And Matsu Softball organizes leagues for co-ed and men's softball with skills-based divisions of play, which means their teams are ranked and they all play within their ranking, like A, B, C, and so on. Our summer league consisted of 51 teams, and we have a total of 750 member players that utilize that facility. The communities represented in our organization are folks that come from Wasilla, Palmer, Big Lake, Willow, and Talkeetna. We offer a 10-week season. We begin in mid-May and run through mid-August, and we organize and schedule softball games Monday through Thursday nights each week. Matsu Softball is a 4-field complex, so there's 4 playing fields there that we utilize. And on those fields, we schedule 3 games per night. So we play at 6:30, 7:40, and 8:50 throughout the 10-week season. So we host 12 games a night. And Monday through Thursday, we're operating at capacity. We actually have more teams wanting to play than what we have playing fields available for them. So some of our leagues, we have to juggle them around and have them play on different nights. For example, Monday night is our co-ed league, and Tuesday night is a co-ed recreational league, and Wednesday night is competitive co-ed league, and then on Thursday is our men's league. And we've had to shift some teams throughout the season to different nights based on capacity, since we have more demand than what we can accommodate. We also hosted 4 major tournaments over the past summer, and that's where Matsu Softball is the host organization for competitive tournaments. We have a tournament in May called the Memorial Tournament. It's a co-ed tournament. And in July, we host the Mugshot Showdown, which is a competitive men's division tournament. And then in August, we hosted 2 state championship tournaments. And cumulatively over those tournaments, we had 80 teams from outside the Matsu Valley come and participate, a total of 1,380 participants that came from communities all over the state of Alaska. Communities represented were Anchorage, Fairbanks, Kenai, Juneau, Homer, Soldotna, Nome, Valdez, Kotzebue, and Talkeetna. And within the softball community, Matsu Softball and the Bumpus Ballpark is known as basically the premier, the best place to play softball within the state of Alaska. We've been growing, as I mentioned, over the past few years, and our priority needs going forward that we're working on. For the last 3 or 4 years, we've been working on a field expansion plan. We'd like to build 2 more softball fields on that complex located behind the area that we currently occupy. There's some woods back there that would accommodate 2 more fields, and we've been presenting and speaking to the city of Wasilla through the council about these plans. And over the past 3 or 4 or 5 years, we've been saving money towards that kind of a project, and we have an engineering firm that's designed some plans of where the fields would set and how they would look and that kind of stuff. And we're still in kind of the infant stage of this plan, but things are kind of coming together. Our parking lot is not adequate to support the amount of participants that we have at times, especially on big tournament weekends. We'll have folks parking not just within the parking lot itself, but in the driveway and then all along Mystery Avenue, left and right, for hundreds of feet, just totally packed with folks. And since the parking lot's not paved or organized very well, we find that folks come in and park all kinds of crazy ways. We have some barrels and some things that we put in to kind of barricade off an area for access, because there's the concern that emergency services needs to have quick access to the fields in case of an injury. We've had to call ambulances in the past for softball players that get injured on the field, and it's been a concern and a challenge at times to keep the area clear so that those services can access the fields. And so expanding and paving the parking lot would be a huge step forward. We heard from the city of Wasilla later this summer that they're planning on putting in bathrooms at this ballpark in the future. In fact, we're working with Eric Shaw, and we're just getting ready to have a kickoff planning meeting with him on planning these bathrooms. Last year, Matsu Softball spent about $15,000 renting portable bathrooms for the facility, which we've done for the last 20 years, and we've now invested over $200,000 in portable bathroom rentals over the time that we've been located at the facility. So we're very excited to have bathrooms there. That'll certainly improve the facility and make it nice for the users. We also have a need to improve our field drainage. During spring thaw and during summer heavy raining season, we have a flooding problem where we'll have standing water on the fields. Last summer was not a great experience as far as rains that we had in late July and August, and we had to cancel a number of games. There is a plan that we worked with the Public Works Department on to put some dry well drains within the complex in key spots where the water accumulates to help it get off the field. So we hope to move forward with that plan and have that done sooner than later. Matsu Softball, our gross revenues are around $130,000 annually, and our board of directors has set aside dedicated funds to contribute toward field improvement and projects for the fields. We've been maintaining the fields at a very high level over the past 20 years with groundskeeping, reseeding, fertilizing, watering, bringing in new dirt each year. As the wind blows, it kind of blows the dust off the infield, and pretty soon you have holes and rocks and stuff like that. So we're continually working on that to make it nice. Years ago, we installed turf batters boxes on all 4 of the fields. So the batters box in the home plate area is enclosed in a AstroTurf material so that you don't have to rake and grade the batter's box and stuff constantly. Those are set and they're actually very nice. So that works out really well. Matsu Softball Association are operating expenses for field maintenance, portable toilets, field and facility improvements, umpires, administration, insurance, rent, utilities, and all these other costs stay right here in the community, and they contribute to the growing economy of the city of Wasilla. We very much appreciate the support of the city of Wasilla over the years. We look forward to an amazing 2025 season, and which will be our 42nd season of softball in the Matsu Valley. So that's essentially what I wanted to let you guys know, and if there's any questions, I'd be glad to take those. I'm not sure if this is a question and answer time or whatever, but
Thanks for the update. It's been some time since someone came to a meeting and just, let us know kind of what was happening and wanting to do a future expansion. And myself, I'm kind of hoping that things just sort of level out economy-wise so everyone can get back on track with what they wanted to do years ago.
sure.
But I know that there was talk years some time ago about possible expansion, but it just takes time and money.
It sure does. And we've been working on it for quite some time. And what it boils down to is the first thing that we need help with from the city that we can't really do on our own is we need an access road built that takes off Mystery Avenue, goes along the backside of the American Legion baseball field, and dead ends behind our ballpark back there with like a clearing area, a staging area. From there, which we can begin to clear the land and bring the trees to somewhere so that we can start leveling the property and getting it ready for fields. A lot of the things we can do on our own, but road building and that kind of thing isn't something that the entities who are talking about grants and funding, and they don't really provide grants for roads and that kind of thing.
Well, and it's something that definitely would have to go through Public Works and Planning to make sure that that's all completely mapped out
Yes,
and appropriately placed.
yes, we've shared this with Public Works and it's on their desk,
Good.
so to speak.
Good.
So, as you know, things take time and
They do,
we're
but if you
just,
start in the winter, then hopefully by summer, right?
well, I think
2027.
I think we started on this in 2020 or so. So it's started as an idea, and then we've slowly just been communicating and providing information and awareness and that kind of thing. Since we have, well, between all the players, umpires, concession stand, field maintenance, spectators, we have 900 to 1,000 people showing up at the ballpark each week. So it's quite a popular location, and it's definitely someplace that would be a great source to put an investment for the community. So, it's definitely something that would be utilized and appreciated by the folks that use that ballpark. We've been playing there since the mid-1990s when that was built, and I've been playing there ever since. And so it's essentially the way it is now is basically the way it was in 1995. There hasn't been little if any change to it. The parking lot's essentially the same. We did cut down some trees and expand it a little bit to have some fire pits and some cleared areas where folks can camp when they come for tournament weekends. Folks bring RVs and tents and stuff and camp there, and there's a place for fires and stuff like that. But the infrastructure and the way that it is now is essentially the way it was when it was built. And so, and our program's grown, tremendously since the mid-90s. So it's just a point in time now where we're challenged to provide the softball experience for as many people as want to come out and play. So we're kind of bursting at the seams as far as capacity goes. So, and then I was expecting this to be like a 3-minute limit on my comment.
Well,
but,
now we've had a full update,
Yeah.
so that's all good.
And then I was going to wait till the other comment period coming up, but if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and just say one other thing. And that is that we have a covered pavilion at the ballpark. There's a facility we built about 8 years ago, concrete pad with a roof over the top of it so that folks can have barbecues and stuff like that. And off the back of that, we have a high netting covering basically like a sand play area for kids, for children. And that would be a great place for some type of playground equipment or kids' entertainment type of equipment, swings or whatever kind of playground equipment. So in the future, if you're wondering where to place some of that type of equipment, we have a space for it, and we have a lot of kids that come, because parents, of course, bring their kids during the week, and we have 900 plus people showing up each week, which means there's at times a lot of kids. So it'd be a very much appreciated and utilized facility if there's any future opportunity to place some kind of a playground equipment out there. So,
Thanks for all of your input.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have any unfinished business?
That I'm aware of.
So that's gonna make it.
Any new business?
There is talk about over at, I did a park, the bathrooms not being big enough to deal with the amount of population that goes through that park. And we're trying to figure out something to where we can do a bigger bathroom there and upgrade that whole facility to where when we have like music in the park and different things like that, that we're not having to rent a bunch of, you know, of the outhouses for that. So it would be, you know, so we're trying to figure out how to make that better as well. And that's been in conversation as of late. So that's kind of the only new thing I really know is that we're trying to do something a little bit better there for that park because it is such a big park.
So at one point in time, someone had made a comment to me of, is it possible to have bathrooms on the other side of the park, down towards the skateboard park and such?
That's something that definitely can be looked at. My understanding was some of that was gonna take place when the skate park, because they were supposed to have a certain amount of money to start moving forward with the project at the skate park, and that was gonna be at that time one of the parts that was included with that. And that kind of seems to have come at a standstill due to finances, from my understanding.
I only caught part of how the whole nonprofit shifted. Is that the right word? So it kind of changed hands from who was handling it, and
Correct.
that's the last I've heard about all of that.
Yeah, the last time I heard about it was from Maurice, and he said they only had about $5,000 saved up towards that at this point. And with that amount of money, not that the city isn't willing to get involved and help with that program of doing that, but need a little bit more meat in the game from all ends.
Right. Understandable. I mean, it's everything doubled and tripled, and just recently it seems, and so everything
Hoping that's
gets.
gonna mellow back out.
Yes. Well, thank you. Audience comments. Staff and commission comments. Leonard, any comments?
The only comment, I guess, well, I've got several of them, but I guess the biggest one would be to thank you for your presentation tonight.
Oh,
Really, thank you.
you're welcome.
I remember your parking lot very well.
Oh,
It stinks. To put it bluntly. No, I mean, that was a great presentation. I appreciate that great deal. I hope that the city can work with you and make that, some of those things come to reality. Takes time, as you well know.
yes, definitely.
But that's all I have, and thank you, and I'm glad we have a new member,
Yes.
finally.
Welcome, Megan.
Yes, Megan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I also want to thank you for your presentation. I know the sandbox well.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad played softball with you guys for a long time, so
Oh, great, okay.
yeah.
That's fantastic, yeah, I'm glad you're familiar.
Yep, I know
We
the
just want it to be
sandbox.
We want to provide a nice environment, and there's kids that run around and stuff, and you always worry about them getting bonked on the head by a foul ball. So it's kind of nice for them to be in that area, although
Sand is great, but probably got old after about 5 minutes, so, cool.
Yeah, and also thank you all. It's nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. So I guess something to think about in the future, you know, for the way forward planning, possible pocket park,
Say that one more time.
possible pocket park.
Could you elaborate just a little?
Pocket park is generally a small neighborhood type park versus I did a park. But out towards the softball fields, you know, but away from the field, so that when there are young kids, that there is a place to go, you know, that has to go on future planning.
Definitely, and I'm pretty sure that we'll be having conversations with him.
Okay.
And working towards a goal at some point. The biggest thing is just the financial piece of it, and then maintaining it once it's in, and
Right.
and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I think the city's fully, you know, we're willing to step in and help with some of that stuff and make it grow. I've heard a lot about the softball and different meetings and stuff, so it's good to hear that there's progress coming, and that you guys are looking to grow and become a bigger establishment. And then I know there's talk about putting some walking areas around the outside of that whole thing to give people other things, you know, other places to walk in town. And so I think it'll be an amazing thing. It's just like everyone else says, it's gonna take us time for us to get to the end of the goal, because there's a lot there.
Sure, you bet, great.
So thank you for your presentation as
Yeah,
well.
you're welcome. Glad to do it.
So yeah, I'm glad you made some time for our meeting to start. And seeing that our next meeting isn't until January 8th, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and of course, a Happy Thanksgiving as well, since it's gonna be that whole gap of time. Anyways, and I look forward to all the holiday lighting going up around the city. It definitely brightens things up on days like this.
Yes, especially on days like this.
You can't start before Thanksgiving, okay? My crew's been like, let's go put them out, let's go put them out. And I'm like, slow down, we don't
Okay,
get them out there too early.
so we're officially